What's up, my wizards? Dev from MtG here with my man Ziggy, and today was the final day of Oath of the Gatewatch spoilers. Completely, totally spoiled this afternoon. So, I'm not going to go through every single spoiler. We have the set reviews with Tony, I know you guys miss Tony, coming up really soon. But what I am going to do today is just go over the top 10 cards, my favorite 10 cards, that were spoiled today. Oh, bye, Ziggy. You know me, it wouldn't be one of my lists without honorable mentions. I've actually got 5 of them, which is sort of like a top 15, but I'm going to try to run through these really fast. First of all, Visions of Brutality. I really like this. It's a pacifism, sort of, that you have to pay black mana for, but still gets through protection from black. That's pretty cool. I like that actually a lot. It's sort of a better pacifism, I venture to say. I actually really like the card a lot. Umara Entangler, another honorable mention. This is sort of a worse Abbot of Carol Keep, but it's a mono blue. Like, this is a really good creature for just blue aggro, you know? And even if you do play Abbot in that deck, blue-red aggro, you might still play this. It's a fine card. Here's Lone Larva. I love the disappointment that is reading this card for the first time. You're like, alright, 2 mana, 1/3, that's not bad, I like that. Ooh, when it enters the battlefield, I like that, that's good. Search your library, alright, for a land, and then put it on top. That's dumb. It's just a terrible letdown and disappointment at the end of that card. However, I still think it's kind of neat. I mean, all of these things that it does are cool. It sort of sucks that it puts a land on top, but still, it's good. Iona's Blessing looks fairly impressive in some ways, but, you know, all the things that it does, it's definitely got the price tag for it too. 4 mana. Kind of a lot for a creature enchantment, just an aura, you know. I'm sort of a fan and also not a big fan, but like Graceblade Artisan is in the format. You can do that and just get 2 for 1, but I still like the card. And finally, Seed Guardian. My notes on this card is just the words, okay, so maybe. That's pretty much all I got. A cool replacement effect, you know, in sort of self-mill decks, Sultai or green-black decks that mill themselves and things. I could see this being like kind of okay in like a budget build. We'll have to see. I mean, I really like replacement effects like this, and I like that it can replace itself with something bigger. That's really cool too. It's got Dwynen stats when you play it, you know. I like some things about the card. I just don't think it's amazing. Well, it's time to start the list in earnest here. Number 10, as far as I'm concerned for today, was Allied Reinforcements. The card is not incredibly impressive, you know, but we mostly got draft fodder and limited stuff today, and I think that this is a really good card in that format, which a couple of these will be, but I definitely think in limited this is a fine card, especially for drafting allies. You get 2 ally trigger, that's good, and they're both 2/2s, you know, these could have been like 1/1s, and this could have cost 3. That actually would have also been good, but, you know, I really wish this was instant speed. If it was instant speed, it would just be a almost standard playable even, you know. I love that it's 4 power for 4 mana, causes 2 ally triggers. There's things to like. Number 9 is Isolation Zone, the only other white card on the list, I believe. Yeah, the only other white card on the list. Isolation Zone, I think Quarantine Field is obviously a much better card than this, but this could see play over like Suppression Bonds and sort of the white enchantment decks. Suppression Bonds is probably still better in out of the sideboard though, but still, you know, in sort of a budget, I just want to exile all your stuff with enchantments. You know, maybe I could see this. It's a solid card, and again, really good in limited. Number 8 is Pulse of Murasa, and this card actually looks really good, and it's common. How is this card common? It's instant speed. This could have easily been a sorcery, but it's instant speed, regrow a creature or land, just put it back in your hand, and then gain 6 for 3 mana. That's not bad at all, especially against, you know, heavy aggro decks. I can definitely see this being a decent card, like in standard. I don't want to go like that far or anything, because, you know, obviously it's a common. It's probably not incredibly impressive. We still have Den Protector in the format. We have a Jutai's Command. We have Kulagan's Command. We have a lot of things. Tasigur, that get stuff back from the graveyard, you know, Jace. So we have a lot of options in that field. We even have Reclaim, which just costs the 1 mana. But I love that this gains you the 6 life. And I know that life gain isn't like amazing or anything, but the fact that it's instant speed, gains you the 6, puts you back in the game against aggro, and puts something back in your hand, probably a decent creature that you've traded or something. I like a lot of stuff about this, and also could put a fetch land back in your hand. That's cool too. Number 7 is Ruin in Their Wake, a good solid green card for Eldrazi ramp decks. Probably. We'll have to see if the Eldrazi ramp deck changes drastically, because it'll probably have to. If it can actually just turn it into a rampant growth on turn 2, then that is freaking ridiculously good for that deck. That deck desires that an awful lot. Right now their second turn is just Sylvan Scrying, and that's not great, to be honest with you. So, but it does, you know, Sylvan Scrying goes and gets Sanctums and Shrines and stuff. So it's a fine card, but I think they would much rather be able to just ramp on the second turn, which I can't do right now. So I really like this card. And I've been saying for a while now, why don't you reprint Rampant Growth, you know? And obviously they don't want to reprint Rampant Growth, but they'll print this, which is just, you know, strictly underpowered compared to it, but still a fine card in this standard. This is Slip Through Space. It's number 6 on my list. I just really like this card. Yeah, I mean, it's just, you know, 1 blue mana, cantrips, just draw the card. That might be fine enough. If that's all it was, that might be standard playable just because of the surge mechanic. But it also lets your biggest guy go through unblocked, or your most consequential guy go through unblocked. There are definitely a lot of, you know, whenever this creature deals combat damage, sort of triggers around. So, you know, this works with those two. Prowess is really good with Prowess too. You know, we've got Monster Swift Spear in the format, Abbot of Carol Keep, a bunch of other stuff. So I can definitely see this going in what is shaping up to be a red-blue Prowess deck with Storm Chaser Mage. That thing is freaking ridiculous. People are talking about that in Modern and Legacy. Not only that, you know, not only Standard. So that deck is shaping up to look really good, and this is probably an interesting piece for it. Drawing the card is just mind-blowing. Number 5 is Tears of Valakut, which is, it's funny, Valakut is always so like hardcore, you know. It's kind of emo on this card, Tears of Valakut, which is a dumb name. But it's an uncounterable instant speed Ojutai killer. That's what's important about this card as far as I'm concerned. We'll see a lot of play in sideboards, and yeah, for the time being we've got Rending Volley, and we'll have it until October. But definitely after Volley rotates we'll play this, and we might play it before Volley rotates, because it's just unanswerable, kill that stupid flying dragon thing of yours. My number 4 pick is Consuming Sinkhole. I really, really like this card. Again, it's common, by the way, a very powerful common. A common that has a choose effect on it, and both effects are actually really good, especially in this standard, that first effect, because it takes out person lands, and at instant speed, by the way. An instant speed choose effect on a common, that's awesome. And if you don't have a land that you want to take out, say a man land of some kind, which there are a lot of them about, not just Awakened lands, but also the, you know, the 2-color man lands that we have in this format, which everyone's going to be playing, by the way. You know, Shambling Vent's already important, and a lot of these that they've spoiled so far look good, especially, you know, blue-red and red-white look awesome to me. So this card takes those out, and if you don't have that option at the time, you can just deal 4 to the face. That's super good. Like, this is very viable instant speed face burn along with a land destruction effect. I love the design of this card. Number 3, we're getting into the nitty-gritty here, is Natural State, which I think is instantly a sideboard staple in not just Standard, but also maybe Modern. I mean, this is just an insanely powerful card, honestly, for 3 mana. And in Standard, by the way, takes out Silk Wraps and takes out Stasis Snares, not to mention a couple of other things. So I like a lot about Natural State. And again, after Dramoka's command rotates, this will see even more play out of the sideboard. So, and again, in Modern, I think that there's definitely a case to be made for this in Modern too, and possibly Legacy. I mean, it's just like the cheapest and fastest that this effect could ever be, and although it's fairly limited, it's really not that limited when you think about it, especially when you get into more Eternal formats that rely on cheaper cards. You know, those formats tend to be a little bit faster, and something like this is amazing, but not only in those formats, also Standard, because we do have key enchantments that we want to be able to deal with early in the game. Oh, by the way, it also takes out Hangerback Walker. It does that. My number 2 is Grasp of Darkness. Just staple standard removal for the next year at least. This isn't Bile Blight or anything, but, you know, like 80-some-odd% of the time, it's probably going to be better than Bile Blight. And although we do see a lot of tokens in this format, courtesy of Gideon and a couple of other cards, and it looks like green-white tokens will probably be an important deck with Nissa and Gideon, a couple of other important things right now. Green-white tokens will probably be a deck. But this, you know, this would be awesome if this were Bile Blight against that. But again, mostly it's going to be better than Bile Blight, you know, at least half the time, you know, 60% of the time. So the numbers keep going down, right? But still, -4 is crazy for 2 black at instant speed. Again, staple removal immediately in Standard. The card is very, very good. And yeah, I know it doesn't take out Siege Rhino, but we're not going to be worried about Siege Rhino in just like 3 months. April, we're not going to be worried about Siege Rhino. And until then, it still takes out like literally every other important creature in the format, including, by the way, I just talked about him a second ago, Ojutai. Can take it out at instant speed. And Anafenza for the next few months. Just everything except Siege Rhino. So we will be playing this card a lot. Number 1, drum roll, I guess, there's no way to do that. Number 1 on my list of spoilers today is Captain's Claws. I believe the only rare spoil today, which might mean that were supposed to pay attention to it. This is about as cheap as this could have, you know, fairly objectively been. If this was 1, it would probably be pretty stupid broken. But even at 2 mana and 1 for equipping, that is hella cheap. Gives the creature +1/+0, and whenever it swings in, you get a guy. Not only do you get a guy, you get an ally trigger if that's what you're doing with your deck, which you probably will be. But even in not ally decks, I can see this being okay. Every time you swing in, you get an extra guy. Yeah, that's your creature sort of becomes Goblin Rabble Master. That seems fine to me. I like a lot of things about this card, and I actually, as far as ordering the list, I almost like Grasp of Darkness better. That was almost my #1. But this, I think, will definitely have an impact on the format, just like Grasp will. We will be seeing this. I think they definitely priced it directly into Standard. And there's effect that is desirable in more than just the ally deck. Swinging in and getting a guy is really fan-freaking-tastic. And making the dude bigger is fine, too. There's a lot about this card to love. Not just like, but love. The card is very good. That's all we have for today. That's my top 10 plus like a million honorable mentions, but I hope you guys don't mind. Of course, I didn't go through everything that was spoiled today. There were probably 10 times as many cards that were spoiled today. They finally finished it off. But again, it's mostly draft and sealed stuff. But join Tony and I in the next few days. We're going to be getting together for the complete total set review where we each give our opinions on every single card in the set, color by color. So stay tuned for that. That's always a blast when we get together for that. So sub if you're new so you can catch that. There's going to be deck text coming up with all these new cards because I'm already working on some stuff as we speak. So again, if you're new to the channel, sub, or if you haven't done that yet, I'd really like you to. Hit the thumbs up if you enjoyed this content. I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching, my wizards.